how's it been living 2 months in my car? Well, I know a lot of you would like me to regret it and say I hate it. And how could you move from Japan to now living in your car in the United States? The truth is, I love this more than living in Japan. Got to tell you that. I mean, my car is about the size of a Japanese apartment, except I don't have to pay rent. 2 months, yeah, 2 months I'm deep in, but I don't actually feel like I'm doing car life. I just feel like this is my life. And I gotta say, I love it. I love it. I mean, I don't feel like I'm suffering. I don't feel like I'm lacking anything. Okay, there's some things here and there that could, if I had these things, I think I might be a little more comfortable, but they're not really things that I dwell on. I'll give you some examples. Like when I have my bed in the back set up, I can't sit fully upright on my bed. So my head will hit the ceiling, but that's okay. I mean, what do you do in bed? You sleep, right? I'd like to have a desk that I could sit and work at comfortably, but I actually could set that up in the back seat area. I just have to figure out how to put it all together. And here's something is like, I work full time. I work 6 days a week. On my day off, I don't want to fumble around with setting that all up. I don't want to spend a whole day doing that. On my day off, I just want to relax. So, I mean, if it's something I can set up relatively easily that I can do within an hour, I'll do it. But basically, I'm comfortable. And, I mean, after work, before work, I don't feel like setting up my computer at a desk and working. There may come a time in my journey here in my life where I'm not working full time and I might have more time to spend on the computer. I mean, looking like further into things I'd like to do. I mean, a lot of these YouTubers that do car life, van life, they don't have jobs, or they do maybe seasonal jobs and then they take a month off. So yeah, they have more time to invest in setting up a workstation in their car. I don't. Right now in my life, it's all I do is work, and I've kind of gotten into a flow, into a pattern. In the mornings, I like to take it easy. I like to wake up, kind of slowly transition into the day. I might spend 30 minutes checking messages or reading the news or something. Then I go into the gym, take a huge crap. I mean, a really big one. Brush my teeth, come back to the car. Now, I tend to stay north of Miami, about 30 minutes north of Miami. I have a few spots that I rotate. I'm not so fond of staying in Miami. It's just nicer up north. It's more suburbish and it's just nicer. So it takes me about anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes to drive south to Miami, where my office is. Then I just work all day. And at work, after work, like today after work, I came to a bike path that runs along a canal, and I ran a mile. And now I'm just chilling out, making this video. After this, I'll go to a Walmart and I'll buy some food. I'll buy a cheap dinner. Then I'll go to my spot, which is near a gym, and I'll go in there and take a shower. Come back to the car, set up for night mode, for sleep mode. No, I take that back. I'll set up for dining mode. I'll eat my dinner. And then I'll set up my car for sleep mode, which is laying out my mattress, and I'll unwind and I'll maybe message some friends, watch some videos, maybe watch a movie probably not tonight because it's going to get pretty late by the time I get settled in. And I'll just relax for 30 minutes to an hour, and then I usually conk out around midnight. That's it. I mean, my life right now is just focus on work and making money. And I do spend quite a lot. I mean, it's not cheap here in America, but I still feel like I'm ahead of everybody else, because even though, yeah, I do spend what feels like a lot of money. You got to remember, I just came from Uganda. I just came from living in Uganda for 5 years. Food was super cheap there. I mean, I could eat for like a whole day. I might spend, between $3 and $5 to eat per day eating, right? But here it's anywhere between $10 and $25, which feels expensive compared to Uganda, but we'll see. I'm keeping track of all of my living expenses, and once I tally all that up, I'll make a video about that. That'll be interesting. But I do feel like I spend a lot on food here, but I justify it by saying I'm not paying any rent. So it's okay, Ryan. Enjoy. Eat what you want to eat. If you're going to spend $25 on dinner tonight, go for it. Spoil yourself because you're not paying rent. Yeah, so, been doing the car life for 2 months now, and again, I don't think of it as car life. It just feels like my life. I love it. I enjoy it. I like that I can just move around and I can sleep in these different spots every night. Nobody bothers me. Once I have my walls up, like now I'm in car mode, right? But I have these window covers, so I can't see out. People can't see in. I feel like I'm in a room. I've got a little toilet in here. I have all my food right here. I have a little fridge right here. I don't know. Oh, sorry. I got a fridge right here. Okay. And I've got another container full of dry foods. I mean, I'm just cozy in here. So yeah, I'm happy. 2 months in car life, or I'll just call it my life, and I'm happy. It's just a very efficient way to live. I've got climate control. I couldn't live here in Florida without climate control. A lot of you are asking in the comments section, how do you live in the swampish, hellish, humid, oppressively humid heat of southern Florida in the summer? Well, it's because I got a Prius. I got a hybrid vehicle here. So I run the AC all night. The AC runs off the hybrid battery, and every 20 minutes or so, the battery runs out and the engine kicks on, recharges the battery, and I'm good for another 20 minutes. Okay, so yeah, let's talk about the kind of the downsides of living in my car for the past 2 months. I mean, it's barely one of them, but like the first thing, I remember when I first started sleeping in my car, like the first 2 weeks, the engine kicking on every 20 minutes to recharge the battery really bothered me, and it woke me up, and it was a big thing. But after about 2 weeks, I just started sleeping through it. Every once in a while, maybe if it catches me while I'm light sleeping, it does kind of surprise me, and I'm like, oh, where the fuck am I? What's going on? Is somebody stealing my car while I'm sleeping in the back? And then I just remember, oh, it's just the battery recharging. But these days, these nights, I sleep so peacefully, and the engine kicking on to recharge the battery doesn't bother me anymore. I'm really making a stretch here to think about things that suck about living in my car, because I really haven't suffered. I'll just be honest straight up with you. I haven't suffered. I got my spots that I go to, and I rotate them, so I really don't have to think about it. And I don't do this, but this is something that could possibly stress me out, is having to find a new spot, because every time I go to a new spot, and I have a whole strategy about it, because the main thing you don't want when you're living in your car, your van, is you don't want somebody knocking on your window while you're asleep, while you're settled in. It's very psychologically disruptive and stressful. It's never happened to me. But yeah, you don't want that. So what you do is you try to find a place that you try to predict where that won't happen. So one strategy I use to deal with that while doing car life in the suburbs and the cities is I park in places that are open 24 hours, so I don't really stand out. So, I mean, like I said, I have my own places to park. They're tried and true and tested places. So I go there and I park, and I know nobody's going to bother me because I've slept in them before. I know the situation about the security. I'm near businesses that are open 24 hours. So one thing that could possibly stress me out is just staying in a new place for the first time. There's just, I mean, and then when I stay in a place for the first time, it's always at a business, it's open 24 hours, but still, like, there's this little shadow of doubt that, oh, I might get a knock on the door or get kicked out. It actually, like, when I was finding my locations, when I first started working in Miami, I remember there was this one night I went to this place. I found a great spot under a nice big tree, and I was about to set up for night mode, and I saw this security driving around the parking lot. Now, I probably should have talked to him. I didn't. I just said, oh, I don't want to stay here. I don't want to have to deal with security possibly kicking me out. I mean, sometimes what they'll do is they'll take photos of your license plate, and if you're there for over 5 hours, they will kick you out. That's what I heard. It's never happened to me. There was another place I went to when I was testing out new places, talked to a security lady. She was real nice, and she said that she takes photos, and if they've been there over 5 hours and they're still there at 5 in the morning, she knocks on their door and asks them to leave. And if there's nobody in the car, she calls the tow truck to tow the car away. So that's kind of how I learned about that. And obviously you want to avoid that. One annoying experience I had was I was in one of my favorite spots. Well, it was my favorite spot. And I was just waking up. I mean, I had to go to work. So I was waking up kind of early. And I wear earplugs when I sleep. And I could hear like somebody talking. But when you're wearing earplugs, and another thing that's great about living in my car, and I don't know if other car lifers or van lifers experience this, because I've heard them say that, oh, one thing about living in a van or a car is like, it's not like living in a house. You hear all this ambient noise outside. Maybe that's an issue with their cars or their vans, but I'll tell you, living in a Prius V, it's very well noise insulated. So it's definitely more insulated than a Ugandan house. Like, those Ugandan houses are just so porous when it comes to sound. So one morning I'm slowly waking up and having earplugs in, and I can hear this mumbling. And that was getting me in. I knew it was somebody talking, but it kept going on, and like went on for like 10 minutes, and then I got annoyed. I took out my earplugs and I could hear it even more. And sometimes, when you're sleeping in your car or whatever, you'll hear people talk, like they don't know you're in your car, and they'll be just talking on the phone next to your car. That's fucking annoying, actually. But they usually fuck off after a couple minutes, so you just bear it. But this guy was like there for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then I started smelling smoke, like cigarette smoke. And I peeped out my window. I took off the window cover, peeped out my window, and this guy was parked right next to me. His door was open. Driver door was open. He was sitting facing my fucking car, chain smoking, rambling in Tagalog, just having one of his little man bitch sessions, whatever. And I mean, I can't blame him, because he didn't know that I was sleeping, living in my car. But it was so annoying. It was so annoying. I wanted to just pop out of my car and just punch his face. I just wanted to punch his face. Anyways, I had to get up anyways, and I got up and I went to take my massive morning crap and, do my routine. And by the time I came back, he was gone. But that was just super annoying. That's probably the worst thing that's happened to me, sleeping in my car. And I mean, is that horrible? No, not by any stretch of the imagination. It was just severely annoying. Now, I would have been more pissed off if it had been my only day off, because I only get one day off a week, and this guy had woken me up on my only day off. I would have been really pissed then. I probably would have come outside and just said, hey man, I'm sleeping in here, and I can smell your cigarette smoke, and can you chill out on that? But I mean, yeah, guys, that's the worst thing that's happened to me in 2 months. And anyways, just a little update on my life, my car life, how it's been going. Thanks for tuning in. See you in the next one, guys. Peace out. Yowsis.